Yo, what's going on, everybody? So, I just want to just quick temperature check, make sure everybody's good. Y'all, I've been doing this podcast for about 2 years now, and sometimes I forget to stop and ask and just double check and make sure y'all good because this whole mindset thing is always work in progress. It's something that we got to do every single day to make sure that we keep the mindset that we're driving for, right? So, I just want to say hello. Hope y'all all doing well. Today's episode, we actually have a special guest. And I love when we have guests on the episode because it makes me have to not do as much work. And you can also hear somebody, you get to hear somebody else talk other than Coach James. Because I know sometimes y'all get tired of hearing from Coach James. But today we got a special guest and his name is Jevon. So, Jevon, welcome to Fast Forward Mindset Motivational Podcast. I'm happy to have you. I'll just go ahead and let you kick it off and tell your journey from there.
I appreciate you, James, Coach James, and the introduction. I do appreciate it. But again, I'll reiterate, I'm Jevon Brown Simpson, also known as Mr. Raise the Vibes. Um, I'm currently a personal growth coach, really working on individuals, helping them transform their life. And that's where I'm at currently. It hasn't always been that way. And the reason that I got to that point was just going through my personal journey through life, right? Everybody has a personal journey, everyone has a story. And everyone's story is different and it impacts them a little bit differently. But I wanted to come on here and share a little bit about my story with you guys. And hopefully it might resonate with somebody and provide somebody with some hope, provide them with perspective, provide them with maybe a new mindset here, right? So growing up, I'm from the inner city, right outside of Boston, Massachusetts. Again, I grew up. I was growing up. It was tough growing up. At first, just single parent household. Really, mom, my aunt, my grandmother, my siblings, my aunts and uncle. We all were living in a two-bedroom apartment. And again, it was just what we had to do. That's kind of the circumstances that we were in. To no fault of anybody, my mother did a phenomenal job. She did as best as she could. But considering that was the circumstance, it was extremely difficult kind of growing up in that. And then from there, we kind of became homeless, got to a point where we were living in shelters. And again, it was one of those things that it was a part of the journey, a part of my story. And I vividly remember just being in this room with a whole bunch of strangers and my mom just giving me a piece of chocolate. And that was kind of my little treat to help me go to sleep at night whenever I was struggling. But from there, my mom, she did a phenomenal job. There were a lot of resources available to us in the shelter. And then from there, we were actually able to get an apartment. So we were really only in the shelter for a couple months, but nonetheless, definitely a transformative moment for me that I'll just never forget. I guess I'll call it my humble beginnings. But from there, we ended up getting into an apartment, and my mom started getting doing a little bit better. Started becoming a lot more independent, and then my father came in the picture, which was um, a good and a bad thing, right? I think there are times that you can always think a two-parent household is better than a one-parent household, but it really all depends on those parents' involvement in your life and the role that they play in shaping you. And when my father came in, um, I guess some would say, yeah, at least you had two parents, but I would say I might have been better off without them at that time because there was really no love. It was all pain, tough love, as a father would like to say. So, growing up in that environment, my mom giving me a lot of love, my father showed me a lot of tough love. I really, really struggled feeling accepted anywhere. I really struggled with knowing how to behave, right? I can be one way and I'd be loved for it by my mother, and then I'd be that same with my father, and I wouldn't receive the same type of reception. And for me, that was confusing as a child, trying to figure out who am I supposed to be? How am I supposed to behave? If I can't be
Mm-hmm.
myself here, where can I be myself? Um, and then I was probably about 9 years old when I actually started playing football. And believe it or not, that was the first time I ever felt like I could be myself. Um, it was just on the field. I had a lot of energy. I was able to run around and hit people. And no matter what I did, I received the same response, which was praises. All of my performance on the field got me the validation that I wanted. So from a very young age, I learned that I love football and I want to do this for the rest of my life. And so thinking about what the rest of my life is going to be like, I'm looking at like how far can I go with this? And that was when I realized, oh, the NFL. Okay, that's where my goal is. That's where I want to go. How do I get to the NFL? Oh, I have to go to college and to get drafted from college. So I was like, okay, now I know I have to go to college. And where do I need to go to college? Well, a lot of good guys come from the South. So I knew that at one point I needed to go to college in the South in order to get drafted to make it to the NFL. So I kind of reverse engineered my my path on what it was going to take for me to kind of get to the NFL. So all throughout my middle school years, my early high school years, everything I did was just in alignment with that. I knew that for me, I never wanted to go to college to learn or to get a degree. I just wanted to go to college because I knew I had to play college football if I ever wanted to give myself a chance at the NFL. So a lot of my upbringing, a lot of my identity from 9 until about 15, 16 was strictly making it to football. That was it. I started to create this identity for myself watching a lot of football players. Again, I'm looking up to guys. Michael Vick was my idol growing up, as every young black man in my neighborhood. We all loved Michael Vick. Was the coolest guy. Listen, watching him play the game, it seemed like his demeanor off the field before all the other stuff happened, but just looking at like, okay, who did I want to look up to emulate and kind of mirror my identity after? It was definitely Michael Vick. He was just the coolest to me. Um, so me growing up, that's kind of the identity that I adopted and I created for myself was just like this cool football player, right? Super nonchalant. Just, I tried hard when I had to on the field, but tried to make it look cool. And for me, that was who I was. So go all the way up going up into high school. Again, was decently successful. Wasn't the best by far, but I was kind of good enough to get some recognition and to win a couple games, right? So was fortunate enough that I did end up getting an opportunity to go and play football in the state of Arkansas. I went to Arkansas Monticello, which is a Division II school. So I ended up getting down there and I'm thinking, listen, I finally made it. I'm one step closer to my goal, to my dream. So for me, I was really happy and proud of myself. But then I get down there and it's a completely different ball game. I knew what I was getting myself into, but you don't really know until you get onto the field with guys that grew up in the South and played football in the South their entire life.
Hmm.
Like, oh, it's a completely different level of football down here. So for me, it was humbling, right? I was always a bigger guy, a stronger guy, a faster guy. But you go down there, everybody is bigger, stronger, and faster than you. So now it's not just about the physical attributes, it's more about your ability to perform and how smart you are, right? And your attention to detail, because everybody's good at that level. But what separates the good from the great is their attention to detail and their ability to do the little things. So for me, I really had to focus on developing my craft because at the end of the day, I knew what I wanted. I wanted to make it to the NFL. Um, and I needed to be playing in order to do so. So I really started to, again, become this football player, focusing so much on what I was doing on the field, making sure I was attending on the lifts early. I was watching film. I knew my plays. I knew my assignments. I knew my teammates' assignments because I wanted to be the best that I can be because I needed to separate myself from the pack, right? Being big and strong wasn't enough anymore. Now you actually have to know the game. So that was when I really started to
Hey,
develop.
Jevon, can you come forward a little bit more to the
Yeah,
mic?
yeah. Yep, yep. Just a little bit
All right,
better.
that's a little better. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
because you was good for a minute and then it kind of like started fading a little bit.
I
So you
got you.
you good. Sorry to cut you off there.
Yeah, no, no, it's all right. So again, I was that was when I really started to develop myself and started to realize that, oh, you can intentionally change your life by
Hmm.
being very deliberate on the things that you invest your time and energy into. So for me, well, excuse me, I'm sweating over here. Listen, it's about 90 degrees. I'm a little warm today, guys.
Man, Arizona's been the same way. Arizona's been crazy, man. I mean, like, you walk outside, I walk outside literally, I'm already in the sweat less than a minute.
Listen, I'm sweating underneath this shirt right now, but we're gonna make it look cool. We're gonna make it look cool for the podcast, right?
Yeah, yeah.
um, so at this point, I'm maybe about 2 years in, and I'm still fighting
Hmm.
for a spot.
Okay.
And then at the time, my girlfriend at the time, she ends up getting pregnant. So now I really want to stay here. I really need to do what I need to do to make sure
Hmm.
that I'm able to play here. And at the time, it was a difficult, very, very difficult decision because She got pregnant at the same time that I was thinking of transferring. But the fact that she got pregnant made me go that much harder because I wanted to make it work down there because I didn't want to have to leave. Um, and what I ended up doing was, again, I became a student of the game. I made sure I was the best that I could be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm because I didn't want it to be in somebody else's hands in my future. I wanted to be there. I wanted to raise my family there, and I wanted to make my dreams come true. So this was a vision. This was a path I designed for myself, right? Um,
Right.
so I did everything I had to do. Went through that last spring, and we had our spring game, and pretty much there's a grade that you receive at the end of the spring game, right? And it's
Oh,
called
wow.
your production, and they grade you out on everything, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
This is where the attention to details to come, knowing your assignment, knowing your steps, and executing what your assignment is. And I knew after the spring game, I had the highest production grade on the entire team. So I'm
Wow.
pretty confident going into my exit meeting with my coach before the semester ends, thinking that, listen, there's no reason I should not be the starter coming back
Mm-hmm.
because I led the entire team in production, which means I know my stuff, which means there is without a doubt that I'm capable. I'm competent and capable of doing my job
Right.
on the field. Um, and then I had the exit meeting with my coach, and he starts bringing up the scholarship talk, talking about how, we have so many out of state fee waivers, and we're going to give those to the guys that are actually playing. I'm looking at him like, why are you telling that to me? I led
Mm-hmm.
the offense in production. This seems like a conversation that you should be having with somebody else. And at that moment, I kind of knew that they didn't have any plans on playing me. So then
Okay.
I decided to, do what I had to do. At the time, I spoke it over with my girlfriend, and it was a tough decision, but she said she was in support of me pursuing this goal of mine of kind of going to continue to play football to make it to that next level. So I ended up leaving Arkansas and transferring back to a school up in Massachusetts where my brother was. And that was the other opportunity for me to kind of continue playing
Mm-hmm.
football and then also have that family support as I was navigating that difficult transition of going from, okay, I was just a student athlete, going to school, just trying to do this for myself. Now I have a newborn. I have a child that's a couple months old. I need to still go to school. I need to work to support him, and I still got to make sure that I'm doing what I have to do on the field in order to give myself that opportunity to go to that next level. So for me, there was a lot on my plate. There was a lot on my mind. But at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, I always looked at it as I didn't have time to worry about it because there was so many things that I had to do.
Right.
So I was just I suppressed a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings because at the time
Okay.
I didn't really have the space in my life to address them because again there was just so much I had to do. But we're gonna fast forward a little bit, and my years back home in Massachusetts. I was starting on the football team. I was producing on the football team. Everything was going while I ended up going back home. Again, that distance and having a newborn made it extremely
Mm-hmm.
difficult on that relationship. So me and my girlfriend at the time, we just decided to just co-parent moving forward because it was just extremely difficult for us to have that romantic relationship as well as trying to raise this child and figure out what we're trying to do in our own separate lives as well. So that was going on as well.
Mm-hmm.
Football was going well for me. Academically, I was actually finishing school, passing my classes. I was actually working, so I was able to support myself and support my son back there. So things were going good. I actually finished up playing my last year of football up there, and I get invited to an All-Star game. So I get invited to the Global. Nope. Oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank on it. Yeah, the National Bowl. That's what it was, the National
Okay.
Bowl. Yep. Got invited to the National Bowl. We go down there, and it's
Mm-hmm.
funny. It's actually was a funny story. I get down there, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a guy that looks familiar on the other team. They have it Team America versus the national team.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on the national team, and I'm looking at the Team America and the white uniforms, and I just see a helmet, and I'm like, see, there's a helmet from my school in Arkansas. I'm like, damn, I wonder who that is over there. Come to
Mm-hmm.
find out, it was the guy that they brought in to replace me as a running back. They ended up moving him into a completely different position, but he was made it over there as a DB, and I made it over here at my team as a running back. And it was just one of those
Mm-hmm.
full circle moments where it was just super dope to see that, like, listen,
Yeah.
nothing stopped this from happening. Like, this is what was supposed to happen. Like, You still
Right.
had your moments, you shined. Granted, they moved your position and you still made it here. I had to leave the school and go somewhere else to get my opportunity, but yet here we are back at the same place. So it was really dope to
Right.
kind of have that moment, have that experience just to see like just how funny how life works out.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, just kind of going forward, I was looking up. I was looking promising, right? I had some
Mm-hmm.
opportunities, and then I got invited to represent Team America first, the Canadian All-Star team. So I had some more opportunities to get a little bit more film, get some more looks. I did get some professional looks. Green
Mm-hmm.
Bay was looking at me. I had some Canadian teams. Had a few overseas offers, but for me, I wanted to stay local to the state
Right.
because that's where my son was. I didn't want to have to go over there and leave everything. I wanted to be as close to him as possible. So I turned down those offers. I was just trying out. And then unfortunately, it was tough. Like I did not get signed right after my senior year. So then
Mm-hmm.
I graduated and just bouncing around, really trying to make this happen, going from tryout to tryout to tryout. Luckily, I finally landed a spot on the Pennsylvania Pioneers. I ended up signing the contract in August of 2019. The season was getting
Mm-hmm.
ready to start in May of 2020. We know what happened come March 2020. COVID came in and
Oh.
COVID shut down everything down, shut down
Oh.
everything. And then for me, that was the moment where I felt like I had to pivot. I had committed my life to this goal of mine of becoming
Mm-hmm.
a professional football player. And for me, I was satisfied enough with knowing that I was good enough to sign this contract to play. Now, circumstances out of my control is the reason why the season never happened. But for me, I think I was comfortable enough with the way things happened for me to kind of move on to the next phase of my life, which I had never really thought about up until that point. Um, so now I'm 24 years old. I
Mm-hmm.
just finished up playing. I'm officially done football. I'm a retired football player.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with my life? Well, I had an old teammate of mine that he was actually working in corrections. And he's the one that reached out to me and was like, hey, listen, you should get into this, man. They make good money. I told him, absolutely not, man. There's no way in hell. Walking down anybody's prison, man.
Right.
Listen, I was completely against it. My
Yeah.
best friend from high school, his dad worked for the DEA. And I had a lot of respect for him and the life that
Mm-hmm.
he was able to provide for his family. So I looked up to that and I was like, you know what? Worst case scenario, I'd want to be a DEA agent. Like that's the life that I would want for me. So me going through with the after this, I'm thinking like, okay, how do I become a DEA agent? Again, I'm
Mm-hmm.
starting to reverse engineer. Okay, you got to be some type of investigator or detective. So that means I need to either work for the FBI or the state police. How do I get there? Okay, I probably have to start off as a local police officer. So I'm like, okay, how do I do that? I have to take these
Mm-hmm.
exams. So my plan is to go become a local police officer. Me getting ready to sign up to take the test for that, I see the correction officer one there, and I end up just like signing up for it. Don't ask me why I did. I did not want to do it,
Yeah.
but it was just there, and I was signing up, and I'm like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Nothing.
Yeah.
Give
I mean,
myself the
sometimes,
opportunity to say no.
yeah,
So,
sometimes we just do what we got to do, right? It feels right in the moment.
exactly. It felt wrong, but I still did it though. It was one of those
Yeah.
things. But I just wanted to give myself the opportunity to say no, right? Because I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know what was going to happen, and I wanted to kind of be able to do something quick. Because again, I knew I had to work, but I have a son I have to provide for at the end of the day.
Right.
So I ended up taking the exams, and I didn't meet the residency requirements for the police. But here comes corrections calling me, and I'm just like, you know what? Let me just answer, hear what they have to
Yeah.
say, and come to find out, they have detectives, they have investigators. And I was like, oh, I did not know that. So there's
Yeah.
an opportunity for me to get to where I want to go, but just through a different route. So I didn't have to go through maybe I wasn't able to go through the front door, right? Maybe I have to
Mm-hmm.
use the back door or the side door to get to where I want to go. So that was my mindset looking into it. And I was like, okay, there's an opportunity here for me to chart a different path to get to where I want to go. And I decided to take it. Um, and it started off good. You know, I went through the academy. I was the
Mm-hmm.
president of my class. It was great, good times. You build, you bond, you really learn how to do the job. And then after I graduated, I'm actually in the job. It was the worst experience of my life, man. I'm going to be completely honest with you. It was something that I was not prepared for mentally. And not in the sense of the job itself, it was who I was,
Mm-hmm.
right? Jevon, the football player, was not a correction officer.
Yeah.
Jevon, the football player, was not prepared to go in there and deal with that and know that all of your accomplishments, everything you've done, everything you've worked so hard for means absolutely nothing here. That Michael Vick kid inside of me was
Yeah.
no wasn't accepted there.
Yeah.
So for me, it was very difficult for me
Mm-hmm.
mentally to exist in this space physically when mentally I was still somewhere else.
Okay.
And then keep in mind there was a whole lot going on with in the world at George Floyd as well. So law enforcement was
Right.
hated in the greatest light. So now I'm having this internal dilemma where it's like I'm a black man working in law
Mm-hmm.
enforcement that I'm not really passionate about, and I still
Mm-hmm.
have this football player identity and bravado about myself, but no one cares about it, no one respects me, and they treat
Mm-hmm.
me as if I just got like I have no life experience, like I don't matter and I'm worthless. So now I'm starting to have all these feelings and these insecurities that I used to have when I was a kid again. So now I'm lost. I have no idea who I was. I had no idea what life was life was going to be like for me. Because I'm 25 years old now. I'm like, there's no way that this is what the rest of my life is going to be like. I cannot feel
Yeah.
like this for the rest of my life. Um, and it really got to the point where I really broke down. Like I had no
Mm-hmm.
idea who I was with my identity. I lost all confidence. I started to fall off. I wasn't really
Mm-hmm.
working out the way I was supposed to. I was eating like trash. I really lost a hold of myself. And it got to the point where I remember I was sitting down in my car and I went to get out and I couldn't see my belt on my pants.
Yeah.
I was just like, listen, I was like, what is going on here? Like, what happened to you, my man? I'm like, listen, this is not you. This is not you. Like you've let go of
Mm-hmm.
yourself completely. And so then that was really the eye-opening moment for me. It was like, listen, don't let this job take too many years off your life because you
Mm-hmm.
want to lose yourself because you don't know who you are. And from that moment on, I really invested in developing myself and finding out who I was as a person. I started reading books. I remember after I graduated, I told myself I would never read a book again because
Mm-hmm.
so much reading, so much writing. I was like, I'm done
Yeah.
with this forever. I'm not looking back. But it was one of those moments I picked up a book and it was The Like Switch, actually. It was The Like Switch was the first book that I read after
Mm-hmm.
college that just kind of sparked that in me to kind of my newfound love for reading actual books. And that book was the first one. And then from there, I started reading books about psychology. I started reading books about finances. I started reading books about love, started reading books about identity and about life and the laws of the universe. And I'm just in consuming all of this new information just so I can try to make sense of everything that's happening. I started reconnecting with old friends from elementary school before I started playing football to find out who were the people that I gravitated to
Mm-hmm.
naturally without it having anything to do with football, without it feeling like, oh, I'm a football player. I need to talk to cheerleaders, or I'm a football player. I can only talk to other football players. I need to be around the jocks. Like, no, who are the people that I actually gravitate to? Like, what are other values that I'm looking for in people that I'm choosing to associate myself with? So I
Right.
really started to do a lot of the work. And then, honestly, more so than anything, it was really just being more spiritually aligned. I
Right.
started having conversations with God, and that was
Mm-hmm.
really the biggest change in my life.
Right.
Really just talking to God and finding out what is for me and understanding that everything that I've been through has prepared me for what He has next for me, right? All of the skills and the attributes that I've developed along the way through football, through life, has prepared me to be who He wants me to be, who He's called me to be. And being aware of what my assignment is was the biggest thing that really helped me change my focus and my direction. So it's about 2022 at this point, and that was when I really discovered that, listen, my purpose here is to serve. Like I'm a
Mm-hmm.
child of God. I am here to serve others. I'm here to serve everybody. Here to be a disciple of the Lord. So me just kind of focusing on that and understanding like who am I here to serve? What is my service to these people? Um, and it really had to think back about my personal journey, everything that
Mm-hmm.
I went through, all the adversity that I came, and then that for me, the biggest point that I felt like I'd be able to help people is navigating that difficult transition in life that we all have to go through. There are people that graduate from college and have no idea what they're going to do for the rest of their lives. There's a lot of athletes that stop playing the game and have no idea who they are anymore. There are people that lose themselves transitioning from relationship to relationship. They go from being a boyfriend to a husband, or a girlfriend to a wife, or going from being just a regular individual to being a parent now. So
Mm-hmm.
that was when I really discovered that like I have a passion for helping people navigate these natural transitions in life, because people don't know what they don't know, and how can you prepare for something that you've never experienced before?
Right.
So knowing that we constantly need to be developing ourselves to make sure that we are able to transition necessarily through those natural transitions in life, and where all that comes from is your mindset. What is your mindset? Are you mentally preparing yourself to be this person that you need to become for this next season of life, right?
Right.
I didn't mentally prepare myself to be a former athlete. My mindset was still on an athlete, not a former athlete. And I needed to make a mental shift in order to be able to live in this former athlete space now. I mentally was prepared to go from
Mm-hmm.
um, being a single person to becoming someone's father. I was not prepared for that. I had to intentionally do work to like, oh wait, now I'm someone's father. I'm responsible for somebody now. There's work that I need to
Right.
be able to do what my responsibilities are in this new role in my that I have that I've been assigned to. So knowing that there's these so many transitions, I've made it a point for me to do the work for myself, but then also assist others as they navigate through those transitions to kind of help people really adjust their mindset as they prepare to kind of go through what life is gonna put them through.
Right. Right. Hey, that's definitely a great story. And two words stood out to me that you said. One, adversity, and then number two, navigating. Right. And a lot of us struggle with adversity because we feel like that the problems that we have is the worst problems ever. And we get caught up like, well, someone dealt this life to me, and I guess my life's just always going to suck, right? But then you said, hey, I overcame adversity and I started navigating my life to something that was purposeful. And
Mm.
that's really the mindset, right? Navigating and overcoming adversity, with those two things together in your life, you can accomplish anything, at least in my opinion. So those two words you said stood out to me. uh Tell us a little bit about how do you help others out there today with overcoming adversity and giving them some tools for navigation.
Of course, of course. So I'm glad you asked. And the biggest thing is the systems that people are built on, right? Anything that is successful in life is built on a good system, right? And you are only as good as your system. And I feel like a lot of people aren't aware what system they're operating on. Okay. And I like to paint this picture for people, right? Think of your iPhone.
Hmm.
Automatically it updates its software. It might do it
Hmm.
overnight one day and you realize, oh, we got this new upgrade and it's going to install that new software so that your phone can now operate with all the new apps and all the new changes. Well, when are we updating our software, which is our mindset? A lot of us are operating on outdated mindsets that no longer serve us at this point in our life. Some of us are operating on the iPhone 8 software and we're on to the iPhone 17 right now. So
Right.
making sure people are aware of what software are you operating on. Are you still operating in this space of the 7-year-old kid that was lost and uncertain about life? Are you still operating from that 17-year-old person that was going through a tough heartbreak and you're still there? Are you operating as a 22-year-old that was on top of the world, but now you're 42 and you haven't grown since then? So a lot of people are operating on the wrong software and the wrong systems. And the first thing is becoming aware of that and knowing where you are in comparison to where you want to be. So I just kind of help people really become self-aware and identify, okay, where are you actually at in terms of this journey? Okay, because think of it like a GPS, right? You
Hmm.
need to know where you are and where you want to go in order for it to create the plan, the map for you to get there. But if you don't know where you are and you don't know where you're going, it is impossible for you to move anywhere. So
Hmm.
my job is really to kind of help people. All right, identify where you are, define where you want to go, and then we'll design the plan to get there.
Perfect. I love that idea. I love how you put that out there too, about working on old software versus, hey, you want to change the mindset? You need to work off new software.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so one last question for you. And hey, Jevon, I want to just say first of all, the information you shared has been wonderful. I'm sure my listeners are going to love that and gravitate to it because you shared a real story, right?
Mm-hmm.
A story of adversity and then a story of how you navigated through life. But one last question before we kill the podcast and be done with it.
Yep.
Share can you share one suggestion or idea on how you rewire the way you think?
A suggestion or an idea on how I have rewired the way I think.
Yep. Or for someone else who you may think that it may be beneficial for them.
Mm-hmm. Your purpose has to be bigger than you. That is it. I was extremely self-centered, and again, I'm going to bring this back to faith. I loved football more than I loved God. And
Mm-hmm.
God loved me enough to give me that success, even though that wasn't my assignment. So me being so self-fulfilled, so self-focused, worried about me, and what I wanted. That's why I know that I went through the things that I went through because I wasn't living in my purpose. I was living in what I wanted to do. And once that changed, and once I started living for God and understanding my assignment, which is to serve others, my life has changed drastically, right? There's so much less resistance now. You might heard during my story of my kind of upbringing through football,
Mm-hmm.
there was so much resistance every step of the way. And it's because it was never meant for me. God loved me enough to give me success because what parent doesn't want their child to be happy?
Yep.
And God is my father. So of course he wants me to be happy, but it comes a point in time, as any good parent, when you see your kid getting a little bit too far off the path, you gotta nudge him back in. And that's what God did to me, to nudge me back in my path, to make sure that I know that I'm staying on track and I'm following my assignment that he has for me. So for me, the biggest, I guess, advice, the tip was, once I realized that I serve a bigger purpose outside of myself, that was when everything kind of shifted for me and actually started living in that and building that relationship with God and trying to, again, being more spiritually aligned so that I know what my assignment is.
Perfect. Well said. And amen to that.
Yes, sir.
And an amen to that.
Yes, yes,
So
sir.
hey, Jevon, thank you. After the show, I'm gonna connect with you, or just and you probably already sent it to me, but I'm gonna take your information and put it in the podcast description. That
Mhm.
way, in case any of my listeners want to reach out to you for any of your programs, any of your coaching, they have a way to do so. It's been great having you on the show. Thank you for your time today.
Awesome, James. Thank you for having me. And again, everybody, I hope you find some value from this. I hope there's something positive you could take away. And yeah, I'm looking forward to connect with anyone that wants to reach out and connect. So thank you so much, James, for the opportunity and for the platform. It's been great.
Perfect, man. God bless you. Have a wonderful afternoon.
You as well. Take care.
All right, thank you.